My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, Victoria II, legal heir to the British Crown. I've put this on prior tapes and about work I have done and what's been done to me here in this country. I was brought here kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey, and I married Childers. The twins were dead, and I grew up in a pigsty, being told I was this person, and I found out in '83 about my kidnapping when I was in a campaign and flown to Larry Flint. Now, I want to finish this. It's really a message. Um, I have been telling this and telling about, I wrote about mind control, which I'm going to say this is shown here. I started telling it back, it goes back to the Tesla files when you could do it with a ham set. You program a person, and they follow your commands. And I won't get into all that. I've already done that in other tapes, but I'm going to show this as way of reference. Timothy McVeigh, and he even says here where he has a chip put up him by the military, and this is the illegal William, and supposedly he has a chip, implantable biochips. This was written by, in a book, it's Project Lucid, which is really talking about the New World Order, which is in place, which Elizabeth Obama, the Rockefellers that kidnapped me. My own uncle, George, became illegal George the Sixth. In 39 year I was born. He's here with Roosevelt. Joseph Kennedy was ambassador to England during that time, and they kidnapped me. The monarch, getting George the Sixth illegal title, and then I could go on and on. My own uncle took down his own brother. They framed him. He was married. My dad was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, an American. Here's the genealogy of the O'Keefes, and my mom is Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, and Georgia O'Keefe is my aunt, the artist. Now I want to show you now because unless the British are able to tell this and bring it into a world court or force the media to tell the truth, everybody believes the media. It has to be told there or it's not so. Well, I hope you know better, but I'm 75 years old. I'd like my name cleared. I'd like it back. I'd like my father's name cleared. And my mom, who she is, the Queen Mom, not the Elizabeth's mother, that's the legal lineage, all of it. I don't care what she says. So my point is, this is all, it should be tried in a world court. Now then, half of them are dead, half of them are still alive, and they don't intend to step down. Now I'm going to show this, and this is to Elizabeth. This is her response, I suppose, in part to me, it's official that Baby George is the future king. Well, Baby George, they named after her father who kidnapped me. She and her father worked for the American government and signed illegal treaties that allowed the military bases of the U.S. all over British soil, which started this whole fiasco and lies and everything. And my kidnapping shut up, and my father, the illegal takedown and frame up of his own brother George did it. So this is the woman that's holding this plant, and she's got a hat and a dress on that would pay for my rent if I could get rent most of the time. I've lived like a pauper, been tortured in every way there is, and so have my sons. They've lived a life in castles. They've lived a life as traders and giving away the British. And they've lived very wealthy lives, given to charities. Hey, it was my money they gave. I'm the pauper. I'm saying she doesn't answer questions. um, she's above it all, and people let it happen. And I'm sure if this ever went into a court of law and they even tried to handcuff her, that people would be aghast at it because finally she's getting justice. Nobody but God, first of all, can hand down justice to these people. They have committed this crime, ongoing crime. They sit here in so much wealth that doesn't belong to them either. But I'm going to read this. This is Elizabeth, a picture of her, and then this is baby George. It was all over the papers. And why? Uh, the media can't tell the truth, yet they can certainly promote an illegal royal family that should be locked up. I don't care, the whole bunch of them. Now then, here is baby George, named after what gall, and I mean, it's beyond me. He's named after Elizabeth's father, who helped kidnap me and take down the British and take down his brother. The movie, The King's Speech, total lies. Now then, I'm going to read this one. I showed. That's Elizabeth with her back turned. Now I'm going to show this and try to read it. I'll have to try to put my glasses back on, I think, and see if I can still look in here and focus it. This is in today's paper, which is the 25th, USA Today. Prince Philip, Prince Charles is supposed to be the future king. Duchess Camilla, that's a divorcee, by the way, commoner. Well, Prince Harry and Pippa. Geez, I believe they would have been stated as commoners, like they said my mom was. What would you say about me? The real monarch, climbing the mountain, getting antifreeze put in me and all the other things imaginable, and things done to my sons, the real heirs. So I'm going to continue. Here's, who did I leave out here in this picture? There's Pippa. There's James. I don't know who that is. And Michael Middleton, back of the Queen, illegal Queen. I mean, they're killers. Duchess Catherine and Prince William and Little George. Wow. And baby George makes 12. This historic photos for Prince George's christening Wednesday show Queen Elizabeth with 3 generations of her heirs, plus other members of the George's royal and Middleton families. It's the first since such pictures since Queen Victoria in 1894. I want to say this. Here's what's happened, and this is really it. Victoria the First that they're talking about would be my great grandmother. I'm named after her. In the picture they're talking about, there hasn't been any photographs since then. Would be that they're talking about in that photograph is Victoria the First, Edward the Seventh, which is my grandfather. Then his son is George the Fifth, my grandfather. Edward is my great-grandfather, and Victoria my great-great-grandmother. Okay, you've got Victoria the First, Edward the Seventh, George the Fifth, and my father, a baby, christened in, I think it was in Victoria's arms. Well, it would have, I guess. Anyway, I don't have that photograph, but that's what they're speaking of. And my father is the baby there. Became Edward the Eighth. I'm the one that's left out. This is when Elizabeth's father, George the Sixth, helped the New World Order, the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the American government, Roosevelt, take out my father, and just never mentioned my mom. The whole thing was a facade, and they never mentioned my birth. They never mentioned my kidnapping, being brought here, that I'm the legal heir. And That's what they're speaking of. There's 4 generations there, and I guess there's, if I've counted it right, with Elizabeth and Charles and William, and then the baby. So it's a countdown on since my father, and they totally left out me and what was done, the kidnapping, the take out of my father. Now that I want to ask you people, if this is even going anywhere, all right, I'm putting it on YouTube as far as I know it is. What would you do under the circumstances? Granted, you can't see what was done to me on a daily basis to my sons, um, but if it's ever shown to the world, I can bet you that Buckingham Palace wouldn't be able to hide these people. I don't think so. I don't think the world would think it's okay for this woman to be held up as a monarch and worshipped almost, and this baby and this family of cold-blooded killers.